The Podfix Network.
Hello and welcome to episode 210 of the Filmmakers Podcast.
Woo!
This is a podcast where we talk filmmaking, from indie film to studio films and everything in between. How to get them made, how to make them, and how to try not to...
bugger them up.
We'll go with that, in our very, very humble opinion. I am absolutely delighted to welcome on the show today the fantastic Jill Gevargizian, who has made the fantastic movie The Stylist. Joining me as my co-host today is the wonderful producer and director Dom Lenoir. Hello, buddy.
Hello, Giles. That's what I've got. How are you doing?
That's it. There was no preamble. Just, I'm all right. Then excellent. With Jill, we talk about her brand new film, The Stylist, which is out now on Arrow Player. You can go watch it. We talk with her all about how to go from a short film to a feature film. We talk learning to trust people and your crew, and how you must have your vision locked in.
We also talk about funding, including crowdfunding, favours, and getting great advice about how to use locations when you're on a budget.
We also talk about how to organise the shoot, planning it, adjusting to making a feature, editing the movie, and Jill also gives you some amazing advice to go out there and make your own feature film. That is all coming up for you. Jill Gevargizian on the Filmmakers Podcast. Dom, how are you, buddy? What's happening?
I'm fantastic. Yeah, the sun is shining. Winter is flying out the window.
That's wonderful. Have you got anything productive done since the last time you were on the Filmmakers Podcast that you could tell our listeners about?
Almost nothing. No, I have been. I've been developing a documentary, which is actually, I'm not even going to reveal anything about it because it's still in development.
Please don't. Keep it a wonderful secret.
Wonderful surprise. Yeah.
So you're making a documentary. That's amazing. I'm really pleased. I can't wait to hear more about that. But your feature, the script that you've written, have you got any progress on that at the moment? Has anything happened?
Yeah, I'm going through another cut. So cutting out pages, trimming
just
it down.
Just literally a red pen through it. Bang, bang. Best way sometimes.
Pretty much. Yeah, the structure's all there, but I was reading a scriptwriting book actually recently, and
congratulations.
Got to start somewhere.
What exactly? One you'd recommend? Or?
Yeah, it's called How to Make a Good Script Great.
Yes, I've got that one.
Yeah, no, it's a good one, and one of those things. If your script's too long, there's generally two ways that it's too long. It's either the dialogue, where you're sort of over-explaining things in the dialogue, or it's the scene descriptions, in which case you're being overly descriptive.
Or you've just put too many bloody scenes in, and you just need to go, that's repeating itself.
Yeah, it's not that though.
Cut it out.
So it's one of the other ones. So I'm busy in the sort of the culling process.
Because it's a really nice feeling when you look back at your script, not saying we're good or anything, but when you look at something again, you go, oh my God, did we really write that? That's quite good, that. And then you look at the bits and go, yeah, that's terrible. We did write that bit.
It's either really, really good in your eyes or really, really bad.
Yes.
It very rarely fits into the sort of middle ground.
Yeah, you don't want it to be in the middle ground. You want it all to be really good and really happy.
Really
it takes a long time to get there. Yeah, well, you don't want it to be that, but it often is. So anyway, look, myself and Dom could talk all day about scripting, and I'm sure we will. If not, I'm sure this will all be cut out. But I wanted to tell you about our first ever competition. I think it might be first. It might not be the first. But anyway, it's the first this year. And we have teamed up with Greenlit, who are a fantastic crowdfunding platform. And we have decided to do this competition. And it's free to enter. And you can win 2 hours one-on-one consultancy with Peter's story and the Greenlit team. You can also win half an hour Zoom consultancy. I can't say consultancy with me.
Consultancy.
Yeah, consultancy. Thank you. To discuss directing, producing, acting, or anything you want. And
veganism, maybe.
If you wanted to talk about that for half an hour, I would love it. And if you enter this competition, there's going to be 3 winners, by the way. You're going to get free access for the rest of 2021 to all the events from our friends at Cine Circle. They have some amazing training and networking events which cover filmmaking and beyond, and their women in film community and showcase as some of the most popular out there. So you get that. But that is not all. Everyone that enters can join a special, free, invite-only Greenlit Filmmakers Podcast event, 10 Myths of Crowdfunding Your Film, to be hosted by Peter Story. And they'll be dropping a load of truth bombs and making you think about your audience and funding in a new way. This is amazing. Entries close 5 p.m. on Wednesday the 24th, and the winners will be announced on the next Filmmakers Podcast after that date. How great is that? It's a free competition. So if you want to make your film, right, and you're struggling, here's a way forward. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Do not wait around. Enter this competition. It's free. Why not? That's what you get. You like that, Dom?
Sounds pretty exciting. I mean, you pretty much said everything that can be said about it.
You sounded so unenthused. Oh my god, all the information will be on our website and in the show notes as well, but just go to our website, thefilmmakerspodcast.com. Free competition. Do it. Why not? You've got nothing to lose. And speaking of crowdfunders, massive shout outs to Robbie McCain, because he completed his crowdfunder for Tohoku, the documentary film that he's making. Thank you all those who did support him, who have listened to this podcast. You are amazing. He is over the moon. He's going to Japan. He's making that doc.
What up, Robbie?
Amazing.
No, that is amazing, and it's also very exciting that he's going all the way to Japan, and he set his sights on such an interesting subject. So massive congratulations from the filmmaking community for doing that. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to Alex DeCuffer, who is doing his crowdfund at the moment of How to Cope with Oliver Pope. Nicely rhyming there. Alex, I've spammed to within an inch of his life on many of our film events and podcasts. So this is payback for him.
Absolutely. The link to that, to Alex's crowdfunder, which is on Greenlit, is in the show notes. The very talented Deborah Wild, who stars in The Dare, stars in this as well. And I'm sure, with your help, wonderful listeners, they will hit their target. So there we go. How exciting. Yes, let's get to today's episode. Oh, I'm Giles Alderson, by the way, if you didn't know. Let's get to today's episode.
And I'm Dom Lenoir.
Yeah, but we know that because I introduced you. But it's good that they know again. Yeah. It's silly season. I'm enjoying this. Right, let's get to today's episode with the fantastic filmmaker Jill Gevargizian, talking all about her amazing movie, The Stylist. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a serious conversation now.
To happen eventually.
Sorry, I'm late, guys. How you guys doing?
Really lovely to meet you. No problem at all.
It's great to meet you as well.
Yeah, real pleasure.
You've got a very ornate and magnificent wall and ornaments behind you.
Yeah, look at that. I love the red hair as well, which matches yours on that picture behind. That's incredible. Is that from the film?
That is actually a painting that was done for the short film.
That's gorgeous. Where are you now? You're in Kansas.
Yep, I'm in Kansas City.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Where it is like freezing today. Actually, I guess it's the coldest day in over 30 years here.
No way. Got that heating turned right up.
So I'm glad to be inside right now.
Of course. My gosh. I've never been to Kansas. I'd love to. One day I want to go to Kansas. It just sounds so cool. I've heard it for years, and the Wizard of Oz and everything. It's like Kansas City.
Is it just like the Wizard of Oz?
That's what everyone thinks that has not been here. Not quite.
Nope.
Well, what's funny is Kansas City sits on the border of Kansas and Missouri, and really like the bulk of the downtown that's cool is on the Missouri side. And like you'll go to see a band here and they would always be like, "What's up, Kansas?" If they're on Missouri, they didn't ever know where they were. It was always like a thing here would be like, "You're in Missouri," but no one knows where they are.
No, so people just like, let's say Kansas. Let's say Kansas. Annie M. Just great. How cool is that? It's an absolute pleasure to have you on, Jill. Thank you so much for spending time with us, chatting about your amazing film, The Stylist, because it is a brilliant film. It's so cool. It's so up my street with a horror vibe. It's really, you get inside her head. It's cool. It's a really well-made film, and incredibly, it's your debut feature. Wow, well done you, first of all. Just great. I think that's really, really cool. It must have felt incredible, right, to have this, this really cool film. And again, when you're making it and when you're putting it out there, we see all the faults, right? You see all the issues and things, but we'll come to that, I suppose, in a bit. But how does it feel at the moment to have your film, your debut film, coming out and getting this amazing response it's getting?
Yeah, very surreal. And I think it's going to be a major wake-up call, especially March 1st when it goes on Arrow Player. The festival experience has been awesome, and I'm just always kind of closely following the responses on Twitter. Since we can't be in person, at least we do have social media to see reactions right away. But we've been trying to make this movie for so long, and so to finally do it and it turned out how we hoped it would, and it's just all been so freaking exciting.
Amazing. Love that.
Can I ask how long it has taken from the conception of it as a short?
Oh my gosh. So I have this piece of paper I have found where I wrote the first ideas down for The Stylist. And that was actually in 2013. And then we shot the short in 15. It came out in 16. And then we've been writing the feature and trying to get it made ever since then. So it's been a long time.
Yeah, it has. Interesting. It seems normal. We talk to a lot of filmmakers. We're filmmakers ourselves, and there's one film I've been trying to make for over 10 years now. There's a friend of mine who's been making his film for 20 years. They're in post now. 20 years they started filming that. So when you think of that, you kind of go, oh, okay, ours wasn't too bad.
Maybe it's not so bad.
Exactly. But still, it's comforting to know that people are in a worse position than you. But how amazing. So let's jump in, because The Stylist is about a hairstylist, and it's about the journey this person goes on, and deeper and darker into the whole, the anti-M world, the Wizard of Oz world, that this in a ridiculous way of putting it, into that the deep dive into the dark, twisted mind.
I like you tying in the Wizard of Oz.
You see what I did there? You see what I did? I love this. This is great. And we want to talk all about this and the fact that you're a hairstylist yourself. Let's jump into that and the story, and why make this short, why do this, why become a filmmaker and go through the absolute torture that we put ourselves through.
Hopefully not based on a true story.
Let's hope not.
No, not at all.
So how did you start? Why get into independent horror films? Why get into filmmaking? Talk us through. Did you have a favourite film? Let's start there. What was your favourite film as a kid?
Oh my, that's hard. It's been hard. It's always hard for me to pick favorites with anything, because it's 100 films at one time are my favorite, maybe. But growing up, I started watching horror at 10 years old when I'd go stay with a friend whose parents didn't pay attention to what we were doing. Nice. So we would get, but that was the best. That's when I saw Candyman, and that was, I still think Candyman is one of my favorites still. Texas Chainsaw is my favorite horror film of all time.
Oh, love it.
We're going to go into that.
Yes, please. Yeah.
I started a screening series here in Kansas City in 2012 where we showed independent horror. And through that is where I was inspired. When I was younger, I made stuff for fun with friends on videotape, and but didn't do anything seriously till way later after I started that series and realized that real people made movies. I was you don't have to be I always thought, I don't know what I thought, honestly, until I met filmmakers that made stuff that was legit. And I especially saw that with short films. I realized, oh, this is a way to make something very high quality with little resources. So I was so inspired when I basically first discovered short films, and it was through short horror. So just dove in a year later, having no idea what the hell I was doing. Still don't know if I do.
Sure. The festival you do, or the monthly showcase, I suppose, is called Slaughter Movie House. Is that right? Is that the name of it? Slaughter Movie House. Oh, brilliant. Shout out to you lot, because what a brilliant thing to do, to set up an event sort of going, well, look, I want to showcase people's work showcase horror, showcase this, in Kansas and in the Missouri where you are. And I really like that. And that obviously must have inspired you, seeing all these other shorts and people coming along and making their films. And you must have thought, yeah, I can do this too. Because at that point you'd made lots of things like on your dad's camcorder. You made, like you say, you just picked up other cameras and shot stuff. But was The Stylist the first short you'd made, proper one, after setting up this festival?
My second, but we did a short called Call Girl first, which was written by my friend Eric Havens. They were considering directing it, and I was going to help produce it, and I didn't even know what that meant. It's still hard to describe what a producer is to people,
it's
but
difficult. Yeah.
Then they decided they didn't want to direct, that it was, the pressure was, it just wasn't their thing. And I still work with them as a writer. So I was like, I want to direct it. And
did you?
What really was like, what am I thinking? What am I going to do? And just, dove in and put it together. We did a Kickstarter. We made it a decently big project. I got like Lawrence Harvey from Human Centipede 2 in there.
Wow.
He's one of my favorite actors. I worked with him a lot now. And Tristan Risk from like, kind of known from American Mary and The Editor and lots of stuff. They were in my first short. So we did a Kickstarter, and it was a whole thing. But it was a tiny thing, honestly, compared to Stylist, which was kind of scary to jump into.
How did you feel it went? Was it a challenge? Did it kind of tick all the boxes that you intended when you set out? What went wrong with it?
No, it went really well. It's kind of my situation. I always tend to work with people that like intimidate me, that are, I feel, way more experienced. And then once I went through the process, I was like, well, that's the way to do it, because I learned so much from everybody that I worked with.
That's a good way to do it. Surround yourselves with the best you can. If you can get the best DP, the best first AD, the best art department team, well, it's only going to make your work look better, right? I mean, learn from them. People get very scared of, well, what if they're better than me and they find me out, suddenly I can't do this. No, if you surround yourself with those people, they're only going to help you in your vision, in your dream, which is great. And that's obviously what happened on Call Girl for you.
Well, that's kind of I feel like that's the thing when you're starting, is to slowly find, your film family. Call Girl, there's actually not a lot of people I worked with past that, except for my special effects artists. We really it wasn't a lot of professional people. We kind of just threw it together. It's a film that is meant to look like it's coming from the perspective of a webcam. So in sense of how we shot it, it was easier in one way, but really challenging in another, because it was like shooting one long take, essentially. Stylist was such a big jump because it was a 15-minute multi-scene, not shot one angle. It's really felt like my first film in a sense, because of how Call Girl was approached in such a unique way.
Yeah. What did you learn from Call Girl then that you took on to Stylist?
It was weird. We shot Stylist, and after Call Girl was probably the next one, but then I made a couple small shorts in the meantime while we were in post-production on Stylist for like a whole year on the short.
Right.
I learned a lot in that process.
Yeah, tell us. Yeah.
But with Call Girl, I feel like that was my first time collaborating on a film. So I'm sure I apologize to everyone I worked with on that project. I'm sure it was much harder to deal with. And people now that I work with now are probably like, you were harder to deal with. Just kidding. But it's learning how to collaborate is like a process, but something like you said, you need to learn how to trust people, and everyone has their key position for a reason. It's like,
yes,
let them have it's important to have your vision locked in, or if you don't, everyone will kind of create it for you. But you really want all those people to shine and give you their ideas, because what's the point of working with them if you're just going to tell them what to do and not hear their ideas, and they're normally better than yours, because that's what they do.
Yes, absolutely.
So how did the idea for the Stylist come along for the short initially?
Well, just honestly being a hairstylist and thinking in the whole Robert Rodriguez teaching, which is like, what do you have access to make your film look more, higher production value, which is like location, like the cooler location you have, it makes your film look 10 million times cooler,
Mm-hmm.
which I feel like I learned that early. A lot of that was like, I'm in the salon and I'm like, I think it was more, how is there not already a hairstylist killer movie? Other than Sweeney Todd, which
yeah,
really
exactly.
isn't.
Yeah, I was so surprised when I was like, surely this. It was like when I heard of The Stylist, I was like, my God, how's no one done this? And it was like, of course, this is such a great opportunity for someone to listen to other people's bullshit and then just go, do you know, I just want to kill you, and I want to take your hair or do something, and it's fascinating. I love the concept.
I first was like, how does the really, funny slasher version of it not exist? Especially like the dentist or like the doctor, all the Dr. Giggles, all those types.
Yeah. Yeah.
Of course, like I love to watch those movies, but if I was my like passion is more on character pieces. So I took it more of a serious thriller route, but treat all the, horror or all the kills as horror as possible. But I'm still like, there could still be, and maybe one day I'll make the really over the top slasher version of it where it's just like kill 20 people, in the movie.
Yeah.
But I'm like, how does this not exist already from the late 80s, early 90s era? You just, I think it's because there's not as many women making movies, because I don't know that this idea would have come from a man not to talk about, but it's just like a very feminine world. I really only thought of that recently talking to people about it. I was like, maybe that's why it hasn't existed.
It's a really good point, and it's true. There is, I mean, we know this in this business, there are less women filmmakers, and certainly doing horror filmmaking, and it's true. There's so many ideas that can be mined from stuff that men for all these years have just, chucked out horror. And actually it's really interesting coming from a different mindset, a different perspective for the horror world, and I think it's really refreshing. Obviously, of course, there is many women filmmaking horror filmmaking women filmmakers out there, and I got there.
That turned into a riddle. I don't know what's happening.
I was saying, but it's true, and I think you've tapped into something that is really interesting, really fantastic, and a great world. For those that don't know what The Stylist is about, it is pretty much we'll call her a fantastic stylist, because she is. Everyone loves her work. She's very lonely, and she becomes obsessed with the lives of her clients, and she descends into murderous madness.
Hi. Right this way. So, what's the plan?
I wish my hair would do that. But we all want what we don't have.
I guess we all want what we don't have.
Claire, this is amazing. Can't wait to see this with the dress.
Oh, neither can I. So, how's the wedding madness?
Getting married turns you into such a narcissist. I am actually nervous.
It's gonna be great. I love you.
Tell me about you, Claire.
I do hair. You get to go in and out of people's lives. You hear stories.
The hairstylist. She's creepy. Does Lynn actually know her?
You give life advice.
I guess we all want what we don't have.
It's almost like having a family.
Are you okay?
It's such a cool idea. And this came from you. Just talk us through more about how you thought, how could you adapt this? How could you make this, really cool idea into a short at first? And then we'll talk about the feature.
I'm really attracted to, which just sounds so morbid to say it when I say it out loud every time, but like, I love tragic stories. I have since I was like a really little kid, movies that make me cry. I think just stuff that really affects me emotionally, whether I'm crying because it's something super inspiring, hopeful is happening, or horrible. Also super interested in character pieces about like, especially complicated characters that like the ideas are confrontational to you as like a viewer. It's not something you can just watch and, you know, sit back and relax. But on the contrary, we all need that stuff too. It's not one or the other to soothe us. But so I've always been really interested in characters that are like, you know, you could look at from many different perspectives, and that especially the typical bad person, you know, like your anti-hero story where you actually get to know them, and it's not just the one dimension of the bad thing they've done, or they're not just a monster like in your traditional slasher where you don't get to know, you know, the bad person.
It's certainly quite a conflicting experience watching it, because your protagonist you do feel quite sorry for at times, and there are some quite emotional scenes, but at the same time she's going out there murdering, and it puts you in a position where you're kind of really unsure whether you should be on the side with her or not, which is quite an interesting perspective to be thrown into. Was that difficult to balance?
Yes, and the hope was like that people ultimately just aren't realize that there isn't like just, you know, one answer, because I think we so easily can call people even in real life monsters and just, you know, throw them away, and we never get to the root of any of those problems. We just keep banishing everybody, and that doesn't fix anything. So on a deeper level, that's kind of the stuff I'm thinking about it. But I've always, been really attracted to movies about people. It's almost more about the people that I'm more interested in than the storyline, like what them and then what they go through is the story. But like I love coming of age films, and like films like Moonlight's coming to my mind right now. It's like the best film I've seen, I feel like, in 20 years. Yeah, I just love people, and knowing that, like, you know, we're not all good or bad. We're all both. And I'm not definitely excusing anything that Claire's doing. And I love films that make you think. And so she I wanted her to just like stay with you after the movie, I hope.
And I think the score helps a lot. And I wanted to talk a little bit about the sort of influences for the sort of surrealism and the score behind it, because that was a very big part of it for me, was really getting sucked into her world. And it does kind of elevate it into a different kind of territory from you know, the sort of traditional slasher stuff. So I wanted to sort of explore that process as well.
Yes. Oh my God. Working on the score was the coolest experience. From only making things that are like 10 minutes long, it seems like it's an obvious thing to say, but like to actually approach the score for almost a 2-hour thing, I was like, wow, this is so many things to think about. But with the score and kind of with almost everything, like even how the camera would act or look at things, we wanted it to reflect Claire and how she felt, which is kind of what you're saying. And it's great to know that like it pulls you into her world, because we were like, the music should always reflect her feelings, because this is her story in every way. That's been our focus. And so especially when we were talking, me and Nick Ehlert is our composer. I worked with him on like everything I've done.
It's good to have those collaborations, isn't it? It's, you know, the team, you know, you work well together, and you go, come work with me on the next one. You know, it's really nice. Yeah.
It's such a dream to finally make a feature with him. He's made a few before with other directors. And so we were talking through certain scenes, kind of struggling with like how to describe it. Was awesome as we just talked through the whole movie in how it feels. I'm not like, I want it to sound like this specifically. I don't write music. I supply him with like tons of scores that I like the feeling of. And then we actually talk through like every scene. But certain moments we'd be like, well, we have, you know, a few kind of stalkery moments. And we were like, well, how do we do this? We don't want it to feel like your traditional being followed thing. Because instead of being hunted, we're hunting. So it's still dark, but it's like somehow that's the intention. Like, you know, it's just like little things like that, which that guy's like a freaking genius, you know, like a lot of musicians are. I think they just like, I don't understand how they operate. Yes. It blows my mind. I just like tell them like, it should feel like being like she's hunting someone versus how a film often would feel scary, like you're the victim while you're watching it.
Yeah.
But, and I was like, I don't know what that means as like literally, but that's how it should be. And then he just like gets it. It's like, and then what's crazy is that with everything, we wanted to approach it with this elegance, but it's like a distorted version of it. And I sent him a lot of these really pretty scores with like full orchestras. And he's like, what if I attempt that type of sound, but through all of my really weird ass devices I have? He has so many things. So it's like, we're attempting for, it'll be like that, but we'll have this natural distortion coming through these other things. And I'm going to do it all myself instead of having like hiring musicians and having actual strings or anything. So these ideas of his are freaking, that's why I'm like, let someone like that just do their thing, because that's amazing.
It's great when you can rely on people to just do that and go off and make their own world and make, with you. It's really special.
And I think that's a big part of what made it what made you connect to her even when she is doing the hunting, is there was this level of you definitely felt the sense that she was finding a beauty in what she was doing. As well as just the sort of the murder side. It wasn't just like, you didn't feel like, okay, she's just going to go and kill someone. You definitely felt that layer of kind of, obsession that was behind it all. And I think that was really fascinating.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Let's talk about the short and going from the short to the feature, because the short won 17 awards, right, if not more, around the world. It did very well on the festival circuit, as it should. So from this, obviously your other shorts you'd put out there and you'd done bits and pieces, but the Stylist obviously rose above. When one does, you're like, right, was the intention always to make a feature out of it, or did that come from the success of the short?
It was always the intention. I had wished so much, especially at that time, that we had the script ready when the short came out, because people could like sense it. I had like exciting people asking to see the feature, or if there was a feature, and we were like, there is a feature, it's not ready to be seen yet.
I haven't written it yet, but it's there.
I'm weird about like magical thought power stuff, and I think something about us knowing like that we all knew we wanted it to be a feature from before we even made the short, that's something apart about why it, I don't know, like maybe that it stood out because we put so much into it, because we knew this was just like the first step of what we wanted to do. But it took a very long time, it took a very long time to make the feature, but to talk about the short experience, it was like, we could have never imagined something that freaking awesome. Like, we premiered at Etheria Film Night, where that's like just a showcase where they only select like 5 to 10 short films each year made by women. And we won the jury award and the audience award. And then we just went on and played a lot of the biggest festivals, which I didn't get into with any of my with Call Girl, anything previous. And even like Fantastic Fest, I still have only played, well, the feature ended up playing, but we played with a short there. That was my first time there. And actually I went to Fright Fest out with Call Girl. Stylist also played. Fright Fest has like supported my whole freaking career.
Yeah, so cool. Great guys. Yeah, really cool fest. Yeah. I
never would play down to like filmmakers that like are planning their stuff. Like the film festival circuit is worth a lot to invest in and try to travel to, and like what it will lead to later, the people you meet and what it means to people when you like show up for your movie. People remember it and I just think that made a lot of difference, because I went around with Call Girl a lot, and then Stylist came out, and it was just like the most exciting experience. But then it took us 4 years to be like, we're making the freaking feature ourselves. We're not waiting any longer. We're trying to get money from like a company at a somewhat decent budget. And then finally I was like, we're making this. I can't wait any longer.
What was the original intentions for the film in terms of the budget? Because it sounds like you worked out a different budget after, looking for finance initially.
Well, we do not talk about money specifically, but we had an exciting producer attached to the script for a couple of years who was just sending it out to everyone that you send them to, all financiers and producers. And you just, it's just the game that I have lots of films kind of in that status at all times, where you just, sometimes you'll get interest and then it doesn't go anywhere. You just never know. And for a while I started to feel like, because I had Stylist and another film in that process for like 2 years. And I thought maybe it's like, I feel like you have to make a feature before anyone's going to make a feature with you, like anyone with real money, like a big company. I mean,
it's frustrating as hell, isn't it?
This catch-22 of like,
totally.
It's like, even if you make a short film like that did really well, like ours did, it's still like we couldn't get a feature off the ground to save my life, it seemed like. So
it's a really weird balance, isn't it? Where you're in this place where you're ready to make a feature and people go, yeah, we'll make a feature with you. You just need to go make one first. And you're like, well, hang on, how am I supposed to do that? And that's what we've talked about a lot on this podcast, about the discovery of that and how difficult it can be. And oftentimes it's, you just go out and do it yourself.
That is the trick. And it's like, I never believed you actually, well, but it doesn't make sense, because I'm totally the kind of person who understands you just have to do things, even if you don't know what that means yet, completely.
Yes.
But I like to at least know, with short films, it was not as hard to at least like kind of come up with enough of a budget to know we could finish the film.
Yes.
And we had a plan.
It's much cheaper.
With a feature, it was harder for me to start something. It's like an internal thing that I don't know how we will finish it, or if we can. And I can't, and I don't know if I can deal with having a film sitting around, for years and years that we can't finish. That's not I can't deal with that. So, but I learned that's from so many filmmakers I would meet at film festivals. I kept like with their first films, they're doing well. And I'd always ask like, how did you get this one made? And so many people just feel like you just have to start doing it. And especially they're like, specifically, you don't know how you're going to finish it, meaning like finance all of it. You might know who's going to work on it if you get the money to pay them. But and it's something about starting it. It really is all about like, people then are going to believe in you because they're see you actually making the movie, and they're like, oh, okay, that's how it worked for us. Like we did a Kickstarter, but that was only a portion of our budget, where we pieced the rest of it together as we went. That was only a small portion of it.
It starts to gain its own sort of gravity, like, because once if you just have a script sort of sitting around, it just looks like a script. It's not really a business plan. But once you start, getting crew together, you start getting your locations, you start building, the team together, maybe even start shooting it. Suddenly, like, it's a lot easier for people to actually see a finished product. And it sort of does just naturally attract people. And I think you have to, in your mind, set the goal that, we are starting this, we are going to finish, even if the kind of logical sense of it doesn't seem even remotely sane at the time.
Exactly. Like we set out the whole schedule, like this is when we're going to finish the movie. No idea how, or like but it's going to happen that way. We have
you give yourself a date, and this is what I say to every filmmaker. Just say, this is the date we are filming. And then if something goes wrong, you go, we're pushing it because for a reason, not just because we haven't got a date yet. Say, right, just go, right, we're shooting in June. We are shooting this feature film in June. It will happen, or it will move that way, so that around May time you go, actually, we've got to push back a week because location, because of cast. But at least you're in that position. If you don't set a date, it's really difficult to move forward. And it sounds like you did exactly that you'd gone through all the houses, you'd gone through the route of how do I get money for this? I want to make this as big as I can. And then you realise, actually, I can just go shoot this. This is a cool concept. You're clearly a very talented filmmaker, and you're going, well, actually, I've got a brilliant lead. I've got I've got cast. I've got people around me. I can go make this. And that, when you have that switch in your mind, that little flip, you suddenly go, oh, I actually don't need to wait for anyone else. I can go do it. Is that how it felt for you? Was that sudden sort of inspiring kick that just went, I don't want to wait anymore. I'm doing this.
It was like a huge kick. It was like, to be personal, my mom went through something really scary, like a few months prior, a health scare situation and I've learned a lot from like loss and things in the past. I lost my father 10 years ago. And then what my mom went through was another reminder. Like that really is what got me into a lot of stuff in the horror filmmaking world. Losing my dad, like just kicking me in the ass of like, time is that short. It really suddenly is over. And then what happened to my mom, just out of nowhere, I was like, that's really was like, I am freaking done, like waiting. You literally don't know what's going to happen tomorrow. And so I reached out to the main, like the kind of the core people I thought, which are my main two producers from the short, who are also the DP and production designer, Sarah Sharp and Robert Stern, and Najara Townsend, our lead actress.
Najara Townsend, she's amazing. So good.
So I just reached out to those three and I was like, what do you guys think about starting this with a Kickstarter? We also have this other money set aside. And then we try to piece it together from there. I'm like, what's the smallest amount of budget we can make this movie at with like what we're going to do? Because none of us will pay ourselves as the main producers. And we're all the main three creative positions. So those are three big things off of the budget. We'll pay ourselves later.
Sure. Yeah.
But we were like, and that was the first time I actually started to break the script down like a producer, which I'm used to producing my shorts, but I never like really broke it down, like how many locations and characters and that stuff. And then I realized it's totally understandable why people told us this is not like a low budget horror film, like the structure of it or the everything, like, you normally would write that in 1 or 2 locations with a few characters, and you write for the low budget normally. This was not written with like those constraints in mind. There's like 15 locations, few of them are huge things with like, we needed lots of extras, like a dance club. We needed like a wedding scene, like a coffee shop, all these. That's not a low budget thing to do. So once I saw that, I was like, oh my God, I see why I've been advised to try to make this maybe late. Like some people try to convince me to maybe make it later in my career when I could get a bigger budget. I was like, this is one and means so much to me that it'll shine through. We don't need the money. Like it means that much to also the rest of my team. Like they've been a part of it since the short film. Tons of like, especially locations, which I feel like a whole budget of our size could just have gone to locations in a normal world, were like humongous favors or like paying crazy tiny rental fees for places. And so we are just like crazy fortunate and grateful to the community in Kansas City that like giving us these crazy locations for next to nothing or nothing.
How did you go about that then? Because there'd be people going, okay, I want to do that too. Did you literally approach and go, look, please, cap in hand? Was there a tactic? Did you offer them, your name's going to be, there in the film? What did you do? Well, obviously, you being a hairdresser, you could get the salon,
haircuts,
right? Haircuts. I'll give you a free haircut.
Just a little off the top.
Yeah, just a little off the top. When you see the film, you'll get Dom's reference there.
Yes. When no, we definitely want to make it fair. We don't want to. We're not trying to go out there and take advantage of people.
Of course,
we tell people like where we are honestly, and what we can afford. And then with certain people that I knew on a personal level, they were more generous with us. But we also try to do things kind of trade. Like certain people offered us locations for nothing. And we in turn were like, well, then those days we'll order our catering from you guys because we want to do something. And of course, we'll put all of your names and the company and the credits. And then even like, for instance, like, the club we shot in, the dance club, is this place called Record Bar I grew up going to. And like we even have their logos on the pizza box in another scene. So we just try to do lots of nods like that all over the place. Because we're so freaking, to anyone that did us any favors, we're like, thank you so much. We'll do anything.
100%. Yeah, and that's it. And people are kind, and people will see that you're a nice person. You're actually going, look, I'm trying to make a film. I'm trying to build my career. Could you help me? And do you know what? Things massively move on for you. You're going to go back to that pizza company and go, hang on, I can now really get you good sponsorship. Of course you would. That's how we work. We're trying to help. During that time, though, of actually trying to raise the funds and going to the festivals and talking to people, was there any really terrible advice that you got given that now looking back, you're like, oh my God, I can't even believe I even took that on board?
Oh man, that's a good question. What do I have to say? Some really bad advice.
Cutting down the locations?
No, I did need to cut down the location. That first version of the script, I was like, how many of these can I There's and a hilarious amount of bathroom scenes in the movie as it is. And I cut out a few of them. Okay. There are more bathrooms. We've joked that like someone's going to turn the movie into called like The Bathroom in another country for all we know. But
it's possible.
I guess like what's sticking out to me is someone that just tried to like discourage me a long time ago in general with like before kind of when I was starting Slaughter Movie House. They were like, you don't know what the hell you're doing, and just like went off on me. And I was like,
wow.
I can't even think of any bad advice because I'm the kind of person that's like, go after what you want but like, be very serious about it and make a plan. And it's really just about breaking it down.
I think it's very interesting as well, the fact that you did sort of decide to stick with all those locations. And I think something that people sort of often, as filmmakers, sort of skip by is the fact that communities are often very willing to help people that are either from the local area, or even just take a punt on something that's something that a bit more interesting and fun than their sort of day-to-day lives. And at worst they might not get that much publicity, but at best they get to have a fun day out, and maybe people hear about them, and it's sometimes people just love to be in a film, so it's always worth trying for those big locations and those ideas if you're really passionate about them.
That's what I like, and it's something my mom I feel like said to me when I was younger, but that it never hurts to ask. Of course, like you need to have kind of some common sense with what that means. Maybe don't ask for like the world.
No,
but depending on the situation, because I do ask for huge favors, but I guess I try to be very graceful with it and say, I completely understand like what I'm asking. And it's not something I'm expecting. And I know what I'm asking. I know it's a huge favor. But I think maybe it'll surprise people how generous people are and how much they want to be a part of something that they think is like cool like that. And they see like, oh, there's this huge team of people and everyone's like so inspired and positive. It's like, it's an addictive thing. And everyone wants to be like people who I feel like will, barely be part of a project for the first time. You get why people love it. It's like an addictive connection.
Yes.
Yeah, and even like our location people we shot in a coffee shop. One of the women who worked in the shop, we put her in the movie, like working in the background, and she was hanging out with us all the time. And we like turn people into filmmaking lovers after one day.
Yeah, totally. It's a really good thing to do because, like, say, normally their day-to-day life is making coffees or, they own the coffee shop, whatever it is. Suddenly they get to be in a movie and there's movie cameras around, and people around who visit that coffee shop will see that, and it's a talking point and it's useful for them and it's publicity, and they can put it on their Twitters and their socials. And actually you forget all that when you're going cap in hand, on a crowdfunder or going around knocking on doors. It's actually, people don't mind. It's quite exciting as long as you don't take the piss, as long as you've got insurance if anything goes wrong.
Yes.
It's
insurance. Do everything right.
No, absolutely. You've got to do it right.
So jumping off the back of that, how did you go about the casting process? Because obviously you've got a very specific vision for the film and you've got the casting fantastic.
It was all different processes. With Najara, of course, she was always coming back to be Claire, and I don't know how the film would work without her, because it's such a role that I wanted to feel very like human and relatable, while I acknowledge like what she does is very over the top, even for a real serial killer. It's very kind of absurd. So I was always personally battling with that, but I feel like Najara is like the reason it works. But with Bria Grant, I met her through another project that we still have yet to make, that we would love to freaking make. But once I met her, I feel like she then on in my mind was like becoming Olivia, the character. And she just had so much of her, who Olivia was to me, all in her real life. And so I reached out to her once we decided to do the Kickstarter, because she's been so busy lately. I was like, I wonder if she'd have time to do this. She's like directing movies, writing more movies, starring in more, directing series now, writing for series. She's busy as hell. And it really she wanted to do it, but it came down to kind of like right a month before, can she commit to the time that we needed her for? The rest of the cast we casted locally in Kansas City, almost all locally. We had someone who I love. I want to shout out Vienna Moss, this adorable young actress. She played the flower girl in the film, and she's incredible. That's the first time I met her, but she's so good. She had never done anything on film, and she's incredible. But like so professional. I couldn't even. It doesn't even make sense. It's like magic the way that this young girl acted on. Would just like know what to do.
Isn't it funny how sometimes kids, especially a really young age, can just be so natural and just throw it away and just have fun, and you go, oh my god, I feel like I found a gem, you know, and then 3 years later or whatever, you come back to them and they're like, no, I can't do this anymore, you know, just because they feel uncomfortable or something around it. But yeah, your cast was incredible. Do you look for anything specific when you're casting, when you're in the room with them? Because this is before COVID that you cast this movie, so did you do casting sessions? And if you did, what do you look for? What's specific for any actors out there? What tips did you learn from thinking, oh, that would have been useful, or that was great?
It was interesting. I did some in person, and then we did do a decent amount with video sent to me. I kind of like that with the first round because you get to see someone how you will see them in the movie versus, you know, in person is different versus watching on monitor or something. But it is nice, of course, to be in person to see how someone takes direction and to try different things. On this project, I actually got to work with a lot of actors I've been hoping to work with in a more significant way for a long time. Because on the short films, there's normally like maybe 2 characters and everything. And so I haven't been able to work with that many people, different people yet. So many people I've wanted to, or I've made music videos where I keep putting all these actors I like in, but you know, they're just hanging out. It's not a lot of acting. So it was really fun with, for instance, like I got to work with Jennifer Seward, who is our opening character, to say the least.
Yes.
Someone I've wanted to work with for a very long time. And it was kind of, a lot of these people is just me reaching out and having them record. It's like me versus like a casting call. It's like me approaching them, asking them to read for a role. I already kind of know, like, I'm sure this is going to be awesome. All right. It's like, I've already decided in my head before I even see it normally. But we had to do open casting for certain roles. And that's kind of painful for me. I wish I just like knew who I wanted all the time, but it is exciting to do casting because then you discover people you don't know. So it's like it's just I'm just a nervous person. So when I watch auditions, I want everyone to be great. It's like I'm a weird little nervous. It's just a silly thing. I'm like, this is just part of the process, Jill. It's going to be okay.
It's going to be okay. I know it's weird though, isn't it? When you see these people working really hard at something, they've spent a long time and they've come in the room, they meet you and you go, I really like them, but they might not be right for the part. And it's sometimes heartbreaking to go, oh God, no, it's such a shame, you know, but you'll tick them down on your list. You'll keep their name. I certainly do. And I go, do you know what? But they'll be right for this next one, or I'll push them in to get. And I think knowing you, I know you're going to go on and make other films. And if there's anyone in that bracket, you will probably go, I like them. Maybe there's a part for them in the future. And I think that's all you can do. But it is hard. It's tough sometimes, the director, to go, oh no, I'm not going to pick you this time. It really is tough. And I feel for actors, you know, it's not easy.
I really do. For them putting themselves in, it's like the most vulnerable thing. Even once you have the job is a very vulnerable thing, but let alone the auditioning process. I have all the sympathy in the world for that process on that side.
Yes. It's not easy at all. Absolutely. But you, like I say, you had a fantastic cast and it's really great. I'd like to talk about your directing thoughts then, from going from the short. Like you say, you know that you're making a short in a certain way. You've got a day, 2 days, maybe sometimes more if you're lucky, to make this, and you know it's going to be 7 to 10 minutes. Shouldn't really be longer. You know, you can kind of go, okay, I'm just going to beginning, middle, and end. When it's a feature, you've got that much bigger arc to think about the characters, the days you're filming, the ins and outs. What was your thinking behind it, of sort of going, right, how am I going to tackle this? Did you do shot lists? Did you plan your days? What was going on in your mind when you were thinking about actually shooting, you know, the Stylist, the feature?
Organizing it seems like a nightmare, but once you get it organized, you're in a great place. But yeah, we are all about everything is organized like to a T beforehand. We've like blocked every scene, shot listed everything, figured out everything. Like, so for this film, even more specifically, we had to like even sit down with of course we would discuss the schedule with special effects, but even in just our regular beauty hair and makeup, like, we'll be shooting one location out versus in any order. So we could be in Claire's house all day and she's going through the entire film in different parts of the day. And that's a lot of different looks going on. So the schedule can be based on the progression of the makeup or the hair or what's happening. Are we getting dirtier, more distressed looking throughout the day? So much goes into like, how are you scheduling it? Luckily, like there's a whole team of people to figure the schedule out for me.
Yep.
Our assistant directing team.
Yeah.
I've had like on my shorts, I've only worked with an AD once, but this we had like 3 ADs and then a whole a PA team on top of that. So we are like planned out like crazy. Like, I mean, me and my DP are blocking stuff like months ahead of time. Yes. We want everything to have lots of thought and intention put into it. And if you're going to do that, it has to start early. So once we get there, like the plan is nailed out as how we're going to shoot it, the day, the schedule down to like the minute. But like for my directing, because I know the schedule, I then am like, pull those pages out, reread those every night and way ahead of time, I've made directing notes, but I'm like, this is what I'm focusing on today. And like when you have an assistant directing team, you don't have to worry about, are we on schedule? What's happening next? Because they're worrying about that. So you can like just be a director, which is, this is the first time I've been able to like only be a director on set. And I was like, I don't know how to not worry about some of those things.
I know you can't help thinking about when lunch is going to arrive. You can't go, yeah, but we need to, lunch has got, oh yeah, but that's different.
Always thinking about when do we get to eat?
Yeah, when do we get to eat? but also I can't help it because I'm the same as you, Jill. I've come from that sort of doing stuff myself and making a short, and Dom is the same, of going, well, I'll produce it, I'll do everything. Yeah.
Like I'm a main producer, but like once I'm on set, I have to just like, we're just our positions. And even like Rob, my DP, is one of the main producers with me, but I would be like, Rob, what are we going to do tomorrow? It might freaking snow its ass off. We're supposed to shoot outside. It can't be snowing in the shot. And he's like, Jill, there's a whole team of people figuring that out. We can't think about that. I'm like, I can't not think about it. But I'm like, okay, I'll try to put it back at the back of my mind. But I'm like, it's going to snow tomorrow. What are they going to do about it? Are they calling Mother Nature to stop it?
Yeah, totally. Throwing salt in the air. Go away, snow. We
literally removed snow from a few shots.
Really?
Multiple shots outside. Most stupid thing I've ever heard.
Oh my gosh, isn't it crazy?
No, I'm very thankful for it, but I'm like, of course you are. We're moving snow. Okay, we've lost our minds.
Yeah, but most people are like trying to get snow on their film.
Yeah, totally.
Like, we've got some extra snow for you.
Yeah, here's some snow. Yeah, exactly. How amazing. Dom, you were going to say?
Yeah, I was just going to say, how much actually, when you've planned it so meticulously and you've sort of really gone through everything, how much changed when you got onto set with the actors? Was there a lot of moments where you were improvised, or did you try and really stick to your guns?
I'm going to steal this from some filmmaker that said the idea of like, I don't remember like where I read this, but they say like there's something behind, if you're that prepared, you already know. You've already seen if you've storyboarded and shot listed, like you know how your film edits together, like you know how it works. So if you at least get that, you then I feel like you're then free to be creative on the day, because you at least, once you get that checked off, you know that you can do more things. You're like, well, we can always fall back on that. So we always we always find new ways to do things, or even consolidate, because our shot list will be a little bit longer than we're ever going to make on a day.
Of course. Yeah, you're never going to make your whole shot list done.
But we make our days is very important to us, how we treat our crew. And there's only one day of like 19 where we went over a few hours because it was like the last part of the movie and we had to do it. But
yeah, that's good.
We just would be like, we're in a moment where like we can shoot the whole scene right here. That makes sense. We don't need all this coverage. This is what's important. This isn't about like cutting back and forth between a conversation or whatever it might have been, but we'd find new ways to consolidate it, and it made like it had intention behind it or whatever. And so we still are completely open to that. And then of course, through the schedule, things happen. Like we are shooting in winter in Kansas City, where one day it might be warm and the next day it's snowing. And so you might establish, like I said, it's not snowing in the movie at a certain point. And then freaking the next day you're shooting out, or it's like one night it got too cold. We had to push a day because we had a lot of exteriors and we're like, we can't expect people to be outside for longer than 5 minutes in that weather. Like we can't shoot multiple scenes. So certain things we had to move, but there's only so much you can, because it's like a puzzle of madness putting together a shoot, like location availability and actor availability and everyone else's. Where does it all meet up?
And the weather just comes in and then causes chaos.
Screw your schedule.
Yes.
We're snowing all over it.
I don't get I'm snowing all over your schedule. I like that. That's a great quote. It really is a really interesting film. It's really in depth, and what I really liked about it was you spent a lot of time on your lead, Najara's face, who's playing Claire. And I really like that. There's this slow build where we're just sitting on her. Was a lot of that found in the edit, or like I say, obviously you've got your shot list and you're prepared, but sometimes when you come to the edit you go, oh, I can just hold on her the whole thing, and it's really interesting. Had you, like say on set, were you going, I've got this now, I don't need, like you've mentioned there, you don't need to cut away. Were you already finding that when you were shooting, or was it something you found in the edit?
Probably honestly a mix, because we do love to like concise language for the camera, so it like all feels like I'm saying like really intentional, and has like, this is what happens, this is happening now, it tells us how this, kind of how this is supposed to feel. There were certain things where we knew we were just going to get in the long take, but especially that opening zoom, we first cut the film kind of more traditional, like start on a wide of the salon and then cut into her. But it was always my thought that like, which is a traditional filmmaking thing, like you start and end on a similar shot. I was like, we need to start on Claire, because we're going to end on Claire, because like this is Claire's story. It doesn't make sense to open on the scene. This isn't about a salon. This is about Claire. So that was my I had to defend. I was like, we're switching to, once we did it, everyone loved it, but I was like, it needs to start on Claire. Then we come out and show where she is. Like, and like, it only makes sense to bring people like right into her life.
And the music and the cinematography really helped to sell that initial burn, and I think they were sort of really, really crucial for the success of that.
Thank you.
So I just wanted to ask about there was a couple of scenes that really stood out as sort of a turning point in the character's arc. In the car park where she sort of corners the bride to be about the moment. The film sort of made a conscious shift at that point. And I felt like you really sort of developed the neurosis of the character sort of from that moment onwards. Was that like a conscious sort of moment where you thought, okay, we need to step this up into the sort of the climax of the film?
Yeah, that really kind of is a major kind of like, this is the tipping point of this kind of spiral that's about to happen. And we really kind of wanted to make make you feel like kind of what I was saying, the camera kind of always representing how Claire feels, and maybe almost kind of distorting reality a little bit. But this may be just me, but when I feel like that scene really brings you onto Claire's side, like it almost makes Olivia seem like she's being pretty harsh here, where if you really think about it logically, she's just kind of setting normal boundaries to someone who's being very, very overwhelming and totally weird, overstepping them. Mm-hmm. So we're kind of trying to make you feel like Claire, like this is the end of the world. This is the worst moment of my life, when it's not meant to be that horrific. And yeah, that is kind of a big tipping point. The next morning, she does kind of go for one last try with a phone call before completely losing her mind. But that is kind of like her desperation. She's reaching out for like, pull me back off this ledge. Like I'm about to fall. Olivia didn't realize that, and it's not her responsibility to fix her. So
up until that point in the movie, you sort of tipped her around, although she's obviously doing fairly crazy things, the way that she does it all seems very controlled. And I feel like that was the scene where you really understand that her grasp on reality is sort of beyond the norms of socializing and yes, understanding, reacting to people. So it's really good there.
It's such a brilliant film. I can't believe it's your debut. Like I said at the beginning, honestly, Jill, you've done so well. I loved how it's slow build, and everyone should go see The Stylist to see how to make a feature, especially from a short to a feature. It's just a brilliant transition and really, really well done. Just some final advice then to any filmmaker out there who's wanting to do what you did, turn their short into a feature. What advice could you give them?
I think honestly, one of the biggest things would be to kind of prepare the whole project from the start. Like write your feature and your short all together, kind of so that once your short comes out, you have this package ready to present to people. Because I feel like that's like your moment to really jump on it. Or you can still happen, but I just think that's a way to really like bring it all together and see like this whole thing was a plan from the start. And that's a common thing. People make pitch pieces like that anyway. They'll make fake trailers but if it's something that really works as a short film and it's something you can get out there and it can kind of start to build a name for itself and a fan base, that's only going to help you, convince people, I think, to try to make that feature or, just to get help to make it.
Amazing. It is available through Octane in America and Arrow Films in the UK. March the 1st, it is available. The Stylist. Do go support Jill. And you're on social media. Do you want to give everyone your handle? Then people can go there and say thank you for doing this and thank you for a great film.
Yes, it's at Jill6 with 2 X's, and then also follow the film at The Stylist Film.
Thank you, Jill. You've been amazing. Really appreciate your time. You're a star, and I can't wait to chat to you for the next one. Amazing.
Appreciate you guys.
Cheers, Jill. Bye. So there you have it. How amazing. Dom, where can people find you?
At home, because we're in lockdown.
At home. Nowhere. Don't find him there. You really don't want to see what's going on. It's all I can see now is Dom in darkness, and it's just freaking me out. It just went slower.
I haven't turned my light on. Giles did a runner through the podcast, but I'm just sitting in darkness. I was like, "Where's he going?
Where's he going?" I'm turning my light on because this could go out as a video at some point.
Yeah, let's not put this out as a video. It looks like a sort of a DV horror from the 1970s on my screen.
Some of those are good, mate. Some of those are really good. Where can people find you apart from in your home, sat on your bed in the dark?
Director Dom Lenoir or Dom Lenoir as my handles. There we go.
You can find me at Giles Alderson. Oh, obviously the podcast.
In your attic triangle.
I am in my attic triangle where
looks
the
like
magic
a hat,
happens.
Actually.
Thank you. It's just a little hat on my head. It does look like that on the video, doesn't it? Weird triangle head behind me. We might put a picture up of this and you'll see it on our socials, where you can find us at The Filmmakers Pod on Twitter. Oh, actually, it's just Filmmakers Pod on Twitter. On Instagram, it's The Filmmakers Podcast. Do go support us if you like this. Tell all your pals. And if you want to check out all our back catalogue of podcasts, go to thefilmmakerspodcast.com and search in the bar. If you just want actors, if you just want directors, if you just want debut directors, all you got to do is put that search in and all those podcasts with those particular people will come up. Oh, you lot are amazing. Thank you so much for listening. We love you. We really do. We really appreciate how much we've grown and all the time and effort you've put into listening and to supporting as well by just your little tweets. It means the world to us. Thank you. Dom, I love you. Thanks for joining us.
Love you too.
Remember, you can go out there and make your indie film just as Jill has done. You can do the same. Me and Dom have done the same. Be inspired. Go out there and make your film. And if you're lucky enough to rise up and do well, it is our duty to send the hairdresser back down. Oh, and this Thursday, check your inboxes. Because from now on, every Thursday, the wrap-up will be dropping. Our weekly newsletter giving you all the latest film and entertainment news to save you scrolling on all the websites. And that can go straight into your inbox. If you're not getting that already, go to our website and you can sign up. If you are, brilliant. Again, something else cool and free from us. And also this Thursday evening... Oh, go on.
I was going to say I actually read through all of that a couple of days ago, and I actually found it quite interesting.
Oh my gosh!
Usually I just sort of scroll through the emails.
Quite impressed.
But this one, it's got very interesting curated facts from a whole variety of different sources in the film industry.
Thank you.
And it actually is quite a good resource.
Thank you.
So I think it's well worth having a look.
Mate, that's a compliment from you. I'll take that all day. And this Thursday as well, and which is going to be every Thursday at the moment anyway. Clubhouse, if you've got an iPhone, you want to be a member of Clubhouse and you're not already, then ping me over Twitter. I do have some spare invites at the moment. But every Thursday, 6:30, we're doing Q&A with a load of our hosts and special guests where we talk how to make films. So come and join us. Link to that is in the show notes.
Unless you're on an Android, in which case you can't.
Yeah, like Dom is. So he's not bitter at all or sad about this. No.
I'm going to make my own Clubhouse.
Yeah? What's it called?
Android House.
And is it just you in there?
Yeah.
On your own in your little Android house?
Yep.
I imagine just playing with your little Android phone. So,
no different to any other day in lockdown.
It is a full year since The Dare was released in cinemas, and now it's on Prime. You can watch it. Dom's film Winter Ridge, which I actually started watching again the other day because it's also on Prime. I was really enjoying it, and I got distracted by Clubhouse.
So the moral of the story is don't go on Clubhouse. Just watch our films instead.
Exactly, basically. Oh, it's amazing. Oh God, I love that. What a terrible thing. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. You're superstars. We'll see you next Tuesday. Until then, take care, everyone. Bye.